Do you know the term Generation Z?
Sure, yes.
What is it? Can you define it? And can you tell us your experience of this term in real life?
I don't know how to define it exactly, but I think they call Generation Z for the people who was born after 2000 and the people between 2000 and 2007, 10, something like that. Mm-hmm. And from my experience, I actually don't like this term because it's a huge discrimination against people and time. So I really don't support this idea between like telling people Generation Y, Generation X, Generation Z, this generation, that generation. They're just putting them onto stereotypes. Like, you are an Generation Z, that's why you do this. I mean, that's not really fair in my opinion, and I don't like it in general.
Mm-hmm. So Generation Z is mostly related with technology use, but there is more than that, actually. When we say Generation Z, they think differently, they act differently, and they have limited attention span, most people claim. And this is not only related with the year they were born in, I suppose, the way they were educated, raised at home and at school. So maybe we could just tell people that they are different somehow, but as you said, it's not that good to label them, right? Labeling
yes.
is not good in that sense.
Yes.
So what about social media use? What is your experience of social media use? And our focus today is privacy and security. What can you tell me about that?
I don't think that privacy is especially something we can talk for Generation Z, because that it's true that most of the people who uses and who grows up with internet were the people who was born in the section as Generation Z, but privacy and it being a problem can only be considered for Generation Z, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about you? Do you use social media effectively, frequently?
I do, but for example, I stopped using Twitter and Instagram, and I definitely reject using TikTok because I realized the more people use social media and the more people face with popular culture that grows inside social media, which mostly caused by American people, by the way, I realized that people get toxic and they just tell whatever they want and they think that their thoughts are right, but they're not actually. And at some point, I realized that I don't want to face with these people because they seriously had a big impact on my mental health. And the year I entered YKS, I deleted all my social accounts because I thought that it would waste my time, the time that I should be using for studying. Mm-hmm. And after the exam, I realized that my mental health was better, way much better, because people on the internet are so different, and in real life we can actually filter the people we choose, but on social media it's not very possible. So in the end, the people you face is not really in your control. Mm-hmm. And it was quite hard for me.
Sarah, don't you think those people are the very people that we meet in the street? They are the same people. What is different here in social media?
Well, I think it's something more personal, like people tend to say things more outwardly in social media. Like people have a thing where they just can talk whatever they want without seeing someone's face. And while talking in real life, they don't show their real faces enough. I see it everywhere. Actually, it's just not a section of a group of people. Every person does this at least one time in their life. It's very because like it's in human nature that telling something that might not be acceptable to society or vice versa. And talking about this is much easier while you're not in front of people physically. I think this is the main reason.
So they have a second personality perhaps over there.
Yep, definitely.
Okay. Yusuf, Fatma Kurtekin, we were talking about the term Generation Z, first of all, and social media use. The focus of this class is privacy on social media. So it makes sense to talk about some basic terms before we move on to the topic. So would you like to say something about Generation Z or social media use in general? Yusuf or Fatma?
Can you hear me?
Yes, well and loud.
Actually, I have an interest of social media. And social media has changed all of things, because maybe there are lots of theories that assume we are living a transparent society and display society, because every people want to show what they eat, what they live. And there is, because of social media, there is no privacy and special thing. And actually, I can't read text very well because I can't say lots of things. Sorry.
No problem. Just tell us about your previous experience about these things. When we say privacy, of course, we mean people's data,
yes,
especially breed data that shouldn't be shared openly, publicly.
Yes.
That's related with privacy. If someone chooses to share a photo of his or hers, okay, in a social media platform, that's okay. But there are some people who illegally obtain data of people.
Yes.
Data that belong to people and use that data for their own interests. And that's the privacy issue that we are focusing on most of the time. And the privacy problem is related with this most of the time. How about Generation Z? Fatma, would you like to say something about this? Or maybe, Yusuf, you could go on with Generation Z if you like.
Generation Z.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a new generation.
We have
actually, I am a
other terms like Generation X or generation of millennium, okay, millennium generation, and that type of stuff.
Actually, Generation Z or millennium is a new term, maybe.
How old are you, Yusuf?
Sorry?
How old are you? How old are you?
I can't hear you very well because of my mic.
How old are you?
I'm
23 or 4? 4, okay. So
I'm Generation Z, maybe.
Yes, that's right. So what is your experience of using technology and social media? Can you just inform us about that?
Yes, okay. Actually, I'm interested in the bad things of social media. I am a mastering at religion of sociology, and my interest is the transparent society. I will write a test on this topic, but maybe I can say I don't use Instagram or Twitter because of the situation. And there is the actually concept of dataism, because our data is sold to the big market, and because of to consume. And they are selling our private things, and they show us every time. Maybe I want to buy a new t-shirt, and when I look at internet, and I see every t-shirt reclam. I don't know how to say reclam.
Advertisement.
Yes. And they want us to consume everything. And there are two reasons of that. One of them is economy, and this is the government of anything like that.
So we are living in a capitalist
capitalist
global society, right? That's why, perhaps.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe you could read the text, because both of you failed to read the text at home. Read the text in, well, the first part at least. Read the first part until the heading, social media is the new hacking target. Until that part, could you read the related section in a couple of minutes?
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. I read.
Finished? Sarah, have you also finished?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you a few questions, like, do you use Facebook or Gmail or other accounts to sign in some other platforms or software? Do you use these things?
Yes, I do.
What about you, Yusuf?
Yes, I have a Gmail. I don't use Facebook.
And do you save your passwords in password vaults or in Chrome, for example?
No, definitely not.
What is your practice about this issue? Sarah, would you like to explain your practice regarding passwords, the frequency of changing them, how you use them, password privacy and password security?
I usually have different Gmail accounts for different purposes. But as my friend said, I don't use Facebook either. I just use Gmail because it's easier to, use it. And I definitely don't. Excuse me?
It's good service. Good service.
Yes, it's very useful. I definitely don't save my password to Google because as much as I don't trust Google, I don't trust social media accounts either. And I definitely don't use personal information while I'm going on internet. For example, I don't use my name or anything related to me while I'm opening a Gmail account. For example, my Gmail address never starts with my name or anything related to me. Like, for example, I wouldn't use my name to open a Gmail account. I only have one account with my name on it, and it's for school purposes. I don't use it on internet. I only use it for school stuff. Other than that, I don't have anything on the internet, and I'm making sure of it that I don't have anything on my name on the internet, because I know it's not safe, and I know my data is constantly being used. I definitely don't trust it. I never use it. And for the password issue, I usually note down my passwords. I usually change them frequently, and this is how I keep my security.
How often do you change them?
It depends on the account and the site that I'm using, actually. Like, for example, if it's something like Twitter or Facebook, a site that is well known and collects bigger data, I constantly change them, like 3 weeks, I guess.
You are a knowledgeable internet user, I suppose, social media user.
Yes, I usually change my advanced security settings when I'm using an app or a site, because, like I said, I definitely don't trust internet or Google or any other.
You are among those who change their passwords and who consider their security settings very often. You are within this 71%, I suppose.
Yeah, I think me being one of the Gen Z makes this difference.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Yusuf? Yeah. What are your policies regarding passwords or social media account use and signing in other accounts using social media accounts and so on? Could you inform us about that?
Yeah, I couldn't understand very well, but I don't save my password to Google, because as well I don't trust in Google, because I know that they are selling our data to consume, and my password is changing every time when I join a new internet step. Because I want to be careful of that, because everything is about password. Because if you want to buy something, if you want to buy a book, you have to join an internet. Maybe it's like Kitap Yurdu, or it's like that, and you have a password and you have a join. You have to join.
That's right.
Whatever we want to careful of that, but we can't get rid of this situation. We are living in a internet times, actually globalization times, global times, and we have to protect ourselves. But I don't know how it's possible.
Do you think large companies, corporations that are interested in personal data, do you think they are interested in your data as an individual? Or are they looking for data of bulks of people, groups of people? Which one do you think?
Actually, maybe Sarah can explain.
Fatma, I think you had a problem with the internet, I suppose. You can hear us, right? At the moment. Sarah, can you understand my question?
I did, sir.
Okay, what is your opinion of this?
I think it's a very complicated issue, but I think it depends on the person they are collecting data from.
Just think about a typical person, a typical student, a typical member of the community in Turkey.
So you are asking if they want to collect the data for us being an individual, or as a root of people?
as a group of people, as Turkish society, for example, are they interested in individuals or the community? Which one do you think will be of benefit for their business?
I think it's community, but I'm not sure how to explain my thoughts about this. Well, I don't believe that the people who collect data are searching for us individually, personally, because from my opinion, like if I was a data collector, at least I'm putting myself in their situations. I would only search a person's personal data individually for them, at least if they were a very important person about like politics, a celebrity, I don't know, someone like that. But for a random person out there, I would just use that data to gain information about that certain community that person is in.
I see. I'm talking about large corporations that are interested in people's online data. There is another group actually who are looking for people's maybe private data or critical data like credit card numbers. They are trying to steal them, right? What do you think about these people? Fatma could also respond to this question if she can hear us. Or Sarah, you could respond.
I think our friends have connection problems today. Except me, I don't know why. Can I get the question again?
There are other people or organizations, hackers, who are interested in obtaining people's critical information, like credit card numbers, social security numbers, or other things which might prove important. What do you think about these? I think privacy issues are most related with these groups, right?
Yes, definitely, yes. So the main reason why people are concerned about their privacies on the internet is because most people know that their data is collected on internet and people are using it. Some people are using data, for example, cookies, for research purposes. Like I've seen many test sites that using data for research purposes. But most of the sites, even the illegal ones or big companies, are using our privacy data for another purposes, which may be legal or illegal. But as for hackers, they also use very personal information and they sell them on illegal sites such as dark or deep web. I think this is the main concern of people on internet about their privacies, because they are afraid of their information being sold or exposed in the internet. I think most people especially are afraid from their private text messages or their Google search histories to be exposed at public or another person.
This could be possible if hackers could obtain such information. They could use it for ransom. So can you see the word ransom?
Yes.
Yeah, ransom. They might ask for money, or else we will disclose your personal data. This is possible. Here, in this part, social media is the new hacking target. There is the pre-me case. Could you please read this part and tell me about preen me and what happened there? Read it in a couple of minutes again.
Okay. I read it.
Mm-hmm. Have you also finished, Fatma? You could write if you can't speak. Just yes or no. So what's the problem? What's the system? Preen me. What is preen me, first of all? Sarah.
I actually never heard of it, but it's a site, I guess.
What do you understand from this context? What is preen me? It is something to be eaten, or is it a platform, social media platform, or a similar thing?
I think it involves personal information and like passwords, credit card numbers, some financial information.
Mm-hmm. So it's a platform, right?
Yes.
Which collects people's data somehow, legally. But hackers illegally obtained those data.
Yes.
And they kept it for ransom, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, I think that's all about it. I didn't. Should I read this part too?
Yeah. Okay. What about some other sensitive information, like Facebook friend lists? How could this be harmful, prove harmful for third party people, third parties?
I think, like, if we give the example from Facebook, from what I know, Facebook already collects a lot of data. And wait, I didn't actually read this part, especially the paragraph about the doxing on the rise text. So should I read it, or should I just
No. It's not about that part, this part particularly.
Yeah, I didn't read that part. So
you can read it now. When the breach involves third parties, related people, affiliated people, this breach is more critical then.
Oh, so you mean the people who have connections to the people who has their information has been stolen can be affected by the situation too? Because
they are completely unrelated, or they have no share actually in this.
Yeah.
They are completely unaware of what's going on there. And that makes this critical case more critical, even more critical.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, maybe you could read this part as well and learn what doxing is. Doxing. Okay? Here, the text is finished. Tell me what doxing is. First of all, read this part. Yes, I agree. And what is your definition, Sarah? So Fatma says it's gathering and publishing personal or private information about someone on the internet. And this is illegal, right? It's not a legal method or it's not a legal action.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's an offense, actually. You see, offense. It's a kind of cyber crime.
Yes, it's a crime.
Mm-hmm. It's a crime. Maybe it's more serious than an offense. It's crime, basically. You can't do that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now let's talk about what to do, actually, in such a critical point. What could social media or internet users in general do to ensure that they are safe in online environments in general?
They should be vigilant, as the paragraph tells us.
Mm-hmm.
And they should stop oversharing in general. Like I personally never get the idea behind oversharing everything about your personal life, but some people do it, might because they just want to do it or they are not aware of the dangers of the internet, but it just doesn't make any sense to me personally. And they should just either differ the practice of oversharing as it tells us here, or completely stop oversharing at least.
Mm-hmm. How about being a little bit worried or anxious about sharing things and just being suspicious of what is going on there? Healthy suspicion, we might call that. Having a healthy suspicion about people, accounts, what they say, what they share. I see that people believe whatever they read on the internet. And this is a serious problem. They share and share, they share. And I sometimes verify the information they share, and I see that it's scam. It's not true at all. I suppose it is important to verify online information whenever you intend to take action based on such data.
Yes.
What
definitely.
else can we do? Just we will finish it in a minute or so.
The thing you told us just a while ago about we should be healthily worried about our information. I'm going to tell something about us about it right now. I realize most people don't read agreements while opening an app or a site about their cookies or information being used, because most sites, almost every site uses our information. Most of them are using them legally for not malicious purposes. But most people don't even care about the agreements and the cookies they are given. And they just click the I agree with the agreement and continue, because some people really don't care. I actually seen it. Like I actually had this problem with one of my friends. I was telling her to not to share everything or use too much personal data. I was telling her to not to trust internet that much. And her answer to me was, it's okay, like everyone does it these days. Like it's not important that they're using my data anyways. Like who am I to them, etc. And I think that was a very problematic situation there, because if my friend can think like this, then we don't know how many people are thinking like this.
Mm-hmm. And that person is probably an educated one, right?
Excuse me?
Your friend is an educated person.
Yes, yes.
Which makes
Unfortunately.
case more critical. How about uneducated people? To what extent they share and they agree to terms of use without reading?
That's even more concerning.
Yes, yes. So we should be careful, right? While using and sharing data.
Yes.
I suppose the policy should be to share as little information as possible, or share information only when it is absolutely necessary to do so.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, friends, for sharing your opinions on this topic. This is the end of the class today. See you next week, hopefully, on Tuesday.
See you.